This is Women's Leadership Success Podcast, episode number 119. Do you know how to influence your company's management so you are seen as a top leader and the obvious choice for better projects and career advancement? What about your direct reports? Is your team engaged, effective, working together to achieve goals? What is the common denominator of career advancement and team engagement? It is actively growing your leadership skills and influence as part of your professional development. I often hear people say, "I'm too busy to do that with my initiatives and projects." I've got bad news for you. If you don't carve out time to keep developing your leadership skills, you will not be a great leader, and you won't have great team engagement, and you may not get promoted. At some point in your career, it's going to be a game stopper. You can begin to change your leadership and career trajectory right now. This is a doable project no matter how time-challenged you are. Join me in an important discussion on developing your leadership skills so that you will have more impact, influence, get promoted faster, and make more money. And be sure to listen at the middle and end of the show for a special offer and free articles and videos from me that will help your leadership development, your communication, and your confidence. And big bonus, this will help your team and your company too.
Welcome to Women's Leadership Podcast, showing you how to influence people, improve your performance, and advance your career. Brought to you by women's leadership and career expert Sabrina Braham and womensleadershipsuccess.com. Here's your chance to meet women trendsetters leading the way to success, accomplishment, and balance in business and life. No matter if you're a manager, CEO, or entrepreneur, join Sabrina for coaching and no-nonsense advice to improve your career and bottom line.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here with you today and with Tim Warren, my co-founder of Women's Leadership Success and also my husband. And we're going to be talking about leadership development and how for the new year, you can improve your leadership development so that your career has a much better chance of taking off, for you getting a promotion, for you having great success with your team. And I'm really happy to be here today to talk to you about that. Welcome, Tim.
Good afternoon, Sabrina. I'm glad to be here. So we're going to jump right into it. And you and I were talking about this topic many times over the last weeks and how critical it is. You've been interviewing a lot of super smart people in technology, brilliant, educated, tons of effort and time they've put into their education and their technical skills, and wanted to get promoted to a higher leadership role. And some of the gaps that you were noticing, that people were not really investing in their leadership like they were and thinking about it as they were in their education and technical skills. So on that note, for anybody out there who wants to improve their leadership, we were going to jump in and talk about that. And so, Sabrina, where would you recommend that someone start on their leadership development? And I know that influence was one of the themes that we had talked about on leadership development.
Right. Well, and influence is very important, and we'll be talking about that in a while. But the very first thing is just understanding that making a commitment to developing your leadership skills is going to have great benefits, not only in helping you get promoted, but also in helping you have influence and getting your ideas across. So the first thing that I think is important to do is just kind of assess, where are you? I love 1 to 10 scales. Where are you in a 1 to 10, with 10 being the best in terms of your leadership ability? Where are you on a 1 to 10 in terms of your ability to communicate with your team? Where are you on a 1 to 10 in terms of your influence in being able to get your ideas across to upper management to other departments, these are really important things for you to do. So the first is kind of to assess where you are, and then to get a really clear picture of where you want to be, what you want it to look like when you've developed your leadership skills.
I really like the 1 to 10 scale, and I know that you and I use it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
And it's really powerful, and I think it's important for people to remember that no matter where you're at in your leadership development, no matter where you are in your career, we all start at the beginning, and there's always room for more. One of the things that you mentioned was that people that often you interviewed were saying that, I'm so busy with the projects and the technical aspects of what we're working on. I'm so focused on that. I haven't got time to engage my team and find out what I can do to assist them. What do you say to someone who's so involved with the technical aspect or projects or deadlines that they're forgetting about their team and how to lead them to succeed?
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you brought that up. And I'm thinking earlier in the week, I talked to somebody who was totally focused on the technical, didn't spend any amount of time developing his leadership skills or how he communicates. And suddenly he got promoted anyway. He got promoted from a manager to a vice president. And now he's really in a strange situation because he doesn't know how to lead at any level. He never developed that in himself. He's now surrounded by a group of vice presidents who have been doing it for years, who have good communication skills, who know how to motivate their teams, and he doesn't have a clue how to do it. It's a nightmare that I've seen play out more than once. If you don't slowly begin to develop your leadership skills, you could be in a position where it's super uncomfortable because now you have the influence or power, but you don't know how to utilize it.
Not only is what I'm hearing is not only could this concept of career advancement maybe even set you back and put you in a situation that is where you're uncomfortable, but now the company that has advanced your career and promoted you is actually created a liability, and actually may not be achieving the thing that they want. Just because you have the technical skill doesn't mean you have any of the leadership skills. So it's on that note, it's amazing with the amazing amount of research, skills, trainings, resources that are available specifically for leadership development around teams, that more companies are not actively investing in their mid to upper management and leadership skill development, so that everything's aligned. So what do you think that companies need to do to get to engage leadership development as part of their corporate growth, part of their objectives?
Well, I think one of the challenges is you have so many startups or companies that are making a lot of money, and they're making that by new iterations of whatever they've developed, their products, and they don't realize that they have to keep developing their people at the same time. And companies who are forward thinking are going to have leadership development programs. They're going to have coaching available. Those things are going to happen. If it's not happening at your company, it's really important that you do it on your own. So it's important that you start learning the leadership things. And one of the ways, so let's say you're a manager, supervisor, manager, director, and you're thinking, oh, great, 1 to 10 scale, but I'm not sure how my people see me, how they think about me as a leader. My suggestion is to go and ask each one of them to rate you on a 1 to 10, have like 5 different points. And and then ask them what they think you have to do to improve at a half point. What things do they think you need to do? Now, if you've never connected with your people, first off, they may not trust this to begin with, but they also, if you're asking and you come back and you keep seeking feedback from them, they are going to give you information that will help you to really develop yourself. And the more you do this, the more it's going to help them to develop too.
What a concept! Connecting with your team and asking how am I doing and what can I do to better serve you? Gee, what a concept!
That is so. It's so easy. It takes courage to do that. It's easy. It works, and most people aren't doing that with their teams.
You mentioned something a moment ago that I think is also profound and a good segue to the next segment, was that you have people say, wow, Sabrina, I can really see that investing in my leadership development would help me. I'm having problems now leading a team. Yeah, I'm technically brilliant, but I this whole leadership team and connect and developing culture and all that is new. I want to get my company to pay for it. And I think what you said is if you don't have and if you're not investing in yourself, then it doesn't. Then you really are not making the effort. You should think about investing in your own leadership development first. If the company is wise enough to invest in it, also, that's a bonus. And to me, that speaks to something I know that you speak a lot about, and that's growth mindset. Is both the individual has to have a mindset, and even the company. So on that note, how does an individual or a company engage better in the concept of a growth mindset around leadership?
Okay, well, first I want to address what you said before about people wanting their company to pay for their education, their development. I think that is absolutely a great idea, and it should be happening. And what I see a lot is people that can't get their companies to pay for it. They don't get the development. They don't get the coaching, the class. And that's a big mistake. One of the things I've personally done for years is I take 10% of the money I make and I put that into an education fund. And that fund is there so that when the great class comes up, when the incredible coach shows up, I can hire them because the money's already there. So if somebody else can pay for it, that's great. But if they can't, don't shoot yourself in the foot by not getting the coaching or the training that you need, because somebody else is getting that coaching and training, and they're going to be much better prepared than you are. And so it's really important to go ahead and do it, even if the company doesn't pay for it. Now, growth mindset, it's in terms of leadership development. Once you decided that you want to do it, study growth mindset. There's a bunch of things on YouTube. Carol Dweck was a famous educator that came up with this whole concept. And basically, the fixed mindset is your intelligence is set, how much you can learn or develop is set. If you make a mistake, it's a big, terrible thing. If you fail, it's a terrible thing. That's the fixed mindset. The growth mindset is you can keep growing your intelligence. You have unlimited potential. It can keep growing and changing and getting better and better. And that any mistake you make, any failure you have, has the potential of helping you to be even better and to develop yourself more. And so the growth mindset allows you to keep moving forward and developing yourself. And that mindset will help you in your career. And if you teach that mindset to the people you work for, or work with that will really, really help you to help them to grow and for you to grow too.
Kind of like technology.
Yes.
It keeps evolving and changing and growing and getting better and better. And
Exactly.
God knows, over the decades, there's been countless failures and setbacks, but it has been a blessing in our lives. And I thank the many uber smart engineers and technical people out there who have kind of kept pushing the boundaries and having that growth mindset. So what about
I just want to wait.
Go ahead.
I want to say something here. So whether you're a vice president or you're a manager, let's say your leadership skills aren't very good, and you're going to study growth mindset. You've decided you're going to do it. The minute you go ask your team how you're doing, that's a really huge change in your leadership development. The other thing is, it doesn't matter how imperfect you are right now. The most important thing is that when you have these one-on-one conversations with people, you say, I really want to develop myself as a leader, and I need your help. People really appreciate that you want to improve. It doesn't matter that you don't even know how. Just that you state that you want to improve is a big help. Even stating that to the people that you work for is a big help, because now everybody's on notice that you are committed to that happening. And that is one of the most basic, important things that you can do. So you're going to ask me another question?
Well, I'm going to say this really what you're talking about is what is the culture of the company, and do the individuals, whether they're line workers, mid-management, C-suite, are they committed to a collective growth mindset? Are they open at the top? Are they engaging that? So could you share some more ideas about how both a company and that individual leader, or as a leader, someone who's aspiring to be a better leader, can improve their company culture or their team culture?
The most important thing to changing the culture is communication. And that means being very clear about what your goals are for whatever initiative you're working on, being very clear on how you want the team to work together, and to continually getting feedback on how's this going? How are we doing here? It's the same as if you're in a marriage or any relationship. You have to keep working on it, and you want to keep paying attention to, did this improve it, or do we need to do something else? It's just constant small improvements is what makes a great culture. It's what will make you a great leader. It's what improves things.
Let me ask you a very personal, real question. Your willingness to address this question and your answer could mean the difference between doubling or more your income in the next year. Do you consider yourself a high potential female executive who seeks more recognition, income, and influence? Someone who aspires to the C-suite or higher? Or maybe you seek a whole new opportunity, either internally or externally with a new company. But somehow you feel stuck, or maybe you're not recognized for your hard work and are getting passed over for promotion. Or you just need a new strategy to help you advance your potential and your income. The demand for high potential female executives that earn top salaries and profit-sharing opportunities has never been higher. But if you don't know how to stand out from the crowd, attract your champions, navigate organizational politics, or lack confidence to ask for what you want, you may be left behind or miss out on some great opportunities. If you can relate to any of these core executive development questions or challenges that may be holding you back, I've got some good news for you. For many years, I've been an executive coach and management consultant. One of the most rewarding aspects for me as a champion of women's leadership is helping women like you have more influence, impact, and income in business and life. I've had phenomenal success helping women advance their careers and radically increase their income, especially in STEM and tech, when previously they had been stuck or sidelined. That is why I'm inviting you to apply for my executive coaching package for high potential women to help you stand out from the crowd, turbocharge your career, and radically increase your income. Warning, this turbocharge your career is not for everyone. It's not an overnight transformation. But if you are a focused, high potential woman leader, willing to invest in yourself and follow my proven strategies to advance your leadership and career, you'll be amazed at what we can accomplish together. I invite you to book a free discovery coaching session with me right away, because I can only take a limited number of people a year for this special package. So I invite you to reach out to me via my contact page on womensleadershipsuccess.com so we can connect and see if we're a good match. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show.
There is a bottom line to this. A lot of the leadership development work that I know that you work with is helping people advance their careers, and so there are ways to look at it from a personal aspect, and then there's return on investment for the company. So let's look at it from the first part. What are some of our return? And I'll do some math for us in a little bit about return on investment. But from a personal aspect, someone who's trying to wants to develop their leadership, what are some of the return on investments that they can look for? How is this going to impact their position and their career?
So there's all kinds of return on investments for developing your leadership skills. One is that you're being self-reflective, self-aware, you're noticing how you're behaving, and you're wanting to improve it. Right there, no matter what aspect of your career or your life you're doing it on, if you start noticing what you're doing and you make a commitment to improve it, that helps a lot. Secondly, if you engage your people in helping you improve and helping with the communication, that begins to deepen your relationship with those people. And that alone will begin to change the culture, make the culture better. And you're also modeling for people that it's okay to be imperfect and to not have all the answers, and to keep seeking information and feedback so that you can get better and better. So it helps in that regard, just personally. And then in terms of your company, it changes the way you handle initiatives. It makes it much more likely that somebody will speak up and tell you if something's not working right. It changes people's commitments to being engaged and involved with whatever initiative is up right now, because the communication is good with you and begins to be better with each other. So there's a lot of just personal and interpersonal things that change, and all the research shows that it changes how much money the company makes. And Tim, I think you had some statistics about that, or?
I do. We'll go into that in a second. I want to add a couple of other elements. I'm pretty much a bottom line kind of guy, and I know that if you're leading your team better, chances are that now they're more engaged and the team's making more money. But from a career development standpoint, that individual who has the culture in their team, the culture and that leadership and interaction and influence with people above him, when a position opens up or is being developed, I think it's that individual who has improved their communication, who's has a culture of communication and engagement, is going to be the one that is going to be the go-to candidate. It's very competitive out there. There's tons of people just like you that have the same brilliant technical skills, but it's the person who has influenced and engaged the people around them, both their team and, more importantly, the people above them. They're the ones that get promoted. And when you get promoted, especially in some of the fields of technology, it can make a huge difference in your bottom line. And I'm going to share some in a second. So that was. And then, of course, for the company, just making more money and having better team leaders. And I'm sorry, my phone is going off. Some person is spamming me.
Can't hear it at all.
Okay. Oh, good. Anyway, so one of the questions, and this is kind of a Q&A section, I know that you get is you're a professional business executive coach specializing in engineers and techs and women in manufacturing, and you've got a phenomenal career. Helped hundreds of mid to senior level executives. But there was a question about, what does this cost? How much is it? And you and I were contemplating about, really, that's not the right question to ask. So how do you think people should be looking at it on cost versus, like, how much is going to cost me versus a return on investment?
Yeah. So it's so important that whatever program you're picking, and if you're picking a coach or a consultant, that you know that they have a track record of having great success. And the question is, what kind of return are you going to get for the amount of money that you put in? And you said you had some statistics on that, right?
I do, but I can share those now. But I also know that you wanted to share a story about one of your coaching clients, and how much it was really worth to her and the company that she worked with.
So I worked with a woman that worked for a Fortune 50 company, and she was running a team that was reporting to a senior vice president at the company. And she just felt like she wasn't getting across what she needed to get across, and her team wasn't working that well. And so she invested in coaching. And as she coached, she ended up improving her communication with her team and getting the team running really well, improving the communication with her senior vice president, which led to her getting 2 promotions and going up in income $100,000. And then when she got to that level, she still kept improving her communication and the way she did things. And she ended up taking a job with a startup that was, as one of the founders of the company, increased her income another couple of $100,000, plus she was getting a percentage of the profits of the company. So just huge increase. Like, I don't know, what is that? Like 3 or 4 times what she had been making to begin with.
Yeah, no, and what's interesting is I know that she had worked with other executive coaches before, and with some less than incredible results. And so in 9 months, she 3x her income, and she got a position that was more in alignment with what she wanted to do. So let's talk about further return on investment. I want to help everybody understand this, and this is not an actual example, but not too far off from reality. So suppose that you had a leadership development opportunity. It could be a course, it could be formal education in school, it could be an executive coach like Sabrina. And imagine it cost you $10,000, and you invested this money, and over 3, 6, 1 year, period, 1 year, doesn't really matter. But in that period of time, imagine that leadership development helped you be the standout candidate. You got promoted and you made an extra $30,000 in your first year, which is not unusual to go from a manager to a director or up to vice president, or a lot more. So if you spend $10,000 and you made $30,000 in your first year, would that be worth it? What about after year 2 or year 3? Now it's 3 years in, and you've made an extra 30,000 plus every year. Now you're up to nearly $100,000, not counting stock options or things that might come with a high senior position. And you may have invested $10,000, but more importantly, you invested in yourself and your time. So would a 5-to-1 or a 10-to-1 our return on investment be worth it? That's why you need to think about if someone like Sabrina, you're fortunate enough to work with someone like her, you should be thinking in terms of what's in it for you. And if you're a smart company, you're investing in your developing your team so that they can perform at a higher level, have a greater engagement, and you just make more money, and everyone has a better time. So anyway, thank you all for letting me rant on my return on investment thing.
No, I think it's interesting, Tim, and it's also it requires kind of a shift in the way we think, because especially when you go through college, you get these jobs, and you're waiting for somebody to promote you. You're waiting for somebody to point you out as you are great, and they're going to give you this next opportunity. And this is a shift in thinking. It's kind of like moving around all the people that are in line for that next opportunity and going right to the head of the pack. And that's by not waiting for them to invest in you, but to just keep doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to say about the majority of people that I'm interviewing to do coaching with me. They are at such a high level, and they've all taken extra certifications, extra courses. They've developed patents on their own. They've done all this stuff on their own, which makes them stand out from the crowd. And so I really want people to understand and get the whole idea that you need to go find something that you can invest in that will help you to stand out from the crowd, and don't wait for the company to do that for you.
Yeah, and just having the technical acumen does not make you a leader. You need the full package. And I also want to add a couple other quick things about why investing in a coach is helpful. Besides helping you make a lot more money, you can a good coach will help you save an enormous amount of time and headaches. And as you said, Sabrina, if you wait around, it could take years. But with the right strategy and the right and someone like yourself helping the person navigate the politics and of influencing the higher ups, you're going to be much more. You'll be eligible for getting promoted much faster. And also, I thought the other thing you had said previously is that it helps when you're so fixated in your own world, you sometimes can't see outside the box. And that I know that you've helped a tremendous amount of people consider other possibilities that they'd never ever considered, and that has led to these breakthroughs in their business, their careers, their teams, their life, their marriages, and it just goes way beyond that. So, of course, clearly, I'm a fan of Sabrina, and I get to see and the great breakthroughs that are happening. So, Sabrina, if there's not anything else, I'm going to ask you to share how you would like people to get a hold of you, and what what options do you have for them in this great year of 2023 that's almost upon us?
Well, I'm going to suggest something different. I'm going to suggest that you go to LinkedIn and look up my name, ask to connect with me, and I'll accept your wanting to connect with me, and I'll have some events that I'm doing on LinkedIn. You could even qualify for some tips from me. Just put in your information, what you're interested in, and we'll be in contact, and we'll find out how I can be most helpful to you.
Cool. Also, I would recommend you read the recommendations on Sabrina's LinkedIn page, and you'll get a better idea that the level of clientele that she's worked with, and specifically what have they had to say about her, in what areas specifically. Where's the leadership development? How did it unfold for them? And I think by reading their stories, you may find something that resonates in your professional life, and you can see that if there's a potential match between what you need in your professional development and where Sabrina excels as well. Sabrina, thank you for all you do for the professionals out there. I know that you've made a huge difference. It's been an honor to be a part of this show after all these years. And I want to put a thank you out to all the listeners. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your reviews in Apple Podcasts and other places. It really makes a difference. So other people just like you can find the show, and also be encouraged, engaged, and inspired to go to the next level. So thank you. Sabrina?
Thank you, Tim. And I just want to say to everyone listening, don't wait. The new year's coming up. Find some way to increase your leadership abilities. It doesn't matter how small it is. It could be reading a book. It could be taking a course. It could be contacting me for coaching. Just do something. You'll be so glad you did. And have a great new year.
Thank you, Sabrina. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Wait, keep listening. If you like this show and want to learn more on how to be a transformational leader, I have a special offer for you and a gift in just a moment. Thanks for following me on LinkedIn, where you can get more leadership tips from me. And also, I really appreciate you sharing, liking, and giving me a review in Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Remember, if you consider yourself a current or future high-potential executive that wants to have influence, impact, and radically increase your income, I invite you to reach out to me on my contact page on womensleadershipsuccess.com so we can connect. Lastly, be sure and check out my action for traction for this episode in the show notes at womensleadershipsuccess.com. You will get 3 easy but powerful steps you can take immediately, plus some downloadable articles and videos based on this interview to help you truly be a transformational leader. Bye for now. See you soon.
Thank you for joining your host, Sabrina Braham, on another Women's Leadership Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email her at sabrina@sabrinabraham.com. Since 1989, Sabrina and her team have helped hundreds of women managers, business leaders, and entrepreneurs with valuable trainings, articles, books, and executive coaching. For additional tips, interviews, and free access to Great Leaders Today mini course, visit www.womensleadershipsuccess.com.